Toronto is big. It's the fourth largest city in North America behind Mexico City, New York, and LA. So whether you're moving here from afar or even if you're relocating within the city, finding the right place for you can be really hard. There are a ton of different neighborhoods and they all come with different personalities. And I think that it's critical that you find a neighborhood that matches your personality. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 Toronto neighborhoods that all suit a different type of lifestyle. Whether that you are a young professional or a growing family or someone who just wants peace, culture, and convenience, I'm going to help you narrow it down. Okay, so let's start with young professionals. So in my experience, they're typically looking for energy, great vibe, walkability. 2 areas that I would recommend are Queen West and King West. So I'm going to start with Queen West. Queen West is over in this section right here. Let me draw on this. So Queen West is kind of this section here. And I want to make mention of the fact that you've got this really great park nearby called Trinity Bellwoods, which is very, very popular. And the new kind of hot strip is Ossington, and that is right here. So you can get access to Ossington right off of Queen, which is fantastic. So in this area here, along those kind of 2 main stretches, you've got tons of nightlife and bars and restaurants and all kinds of things to do. The only thing that I would say about this area is that it's not terribly dense with places to live. So it's not like you have a boatload of options from a living perspective, and it can be expensive, again, because it is trendy. Now, the types of places in this area I really love, especially along Queen. There's a number of converted old factories and warehouses that have been turned into some really cool hard lofts. So the options that you have for living in Queen West can be really, really cool and really unique. If we scroll over to King West, that's down here. It exists between Bathurst and Spadina. So it's right here. And King West probably doesn't have the allure that it did a few years ago. It's lost a little bit of its shine, I think, but I bring it up because there are plenty of housing options in this area. It's very dense. There's lots of condos in that area. That doesn't unfortunately mean that it's inexpensive. It can be still quite expensive because of that trendiness, but there's certainly plenty of options for you in that way. The other thing that I like about King, if you notice that I actually went closer to downtown, so I'm gonna zoom out here a little bit. So from Queen West, which again is up here and over in this section, King West is here. It's much closer to downtown. And so you're walking distance to like Financial District and a lot of kind of common places. So I like the proximity of King West for people who are working closer to downtown. I'll give you one example of a client. I helped him buy a condo back in 2017, single guy, really liked the King West area. 4 years later, he had outgrown that area and helped him buy a townhouse out in Etobicoke. So while those areas are trendy and very popular, they are areas that people do tend to outgrow over time. So bear that in mind. So for families looking for top-rated schools and a community feel, Davisville and Leaside might be great fits for you. So the combination of top-rated schools, pretty good walkability, parks and green space, and a real kind of community neighborhood feel. Midtown has the ability to provide that, and Davisville and Leaside are 2 main or major neighborhoods in that Midtown area. When we talk about Davisville is very walkable, it's very safe. There is great access to green space, especially the Beltline. It's a trail that kind of runs for a large stretch across Midtown and gives you access to other trail systems as well. Davisville has really fantastic access to transit. You could be within walking distance of the subway line along Yonge Street in a couple of different spots. And it also has a really nice mix of housing, condos to kind of older homes, semi-detached, detached. I can attest to how awesome Davisville is. My family and I live in Davisville. Our kids go to one of the public schools. It's a fantastic neighborhood, and I'm a little bit biased. We love it there. But when you kind of look at all the facts, check all those boxes that I just kind of went over, whether I have bias or not, it's hard to argue all the great things that Davisville has to offer. Now, Leaside is kind of a neighboring neighborhood to Davisville, and it is very similar in its feel and some of the things that it offers. Although I would say that Leaside is maybe a little bit more upscale kind of across the board. The homes, generally speaking, are larger. The lots are larger. It doesn't have as good of access to transit, and the walkability can be good depending on how close you are to certain sections of Leaside. But Leaside has a very, and I mean this not in a bad way, almost a bit of a suburban feel to it, certainly sections of it, but you're still very centrally located within the city. Leaside has a very proud, kind of close-knit community feel to it for sure. You absolutely will see a lot of strollers, a lot of people walking their dogs, and you'll have a lot of people who are raising their kids in Leaside after having grown up there themselves. You have kind of long-term generational type residents living there. Now, both of these neighborhoods are expensive, and they can be very competitive as well. So you'll probably have to fight with other buyers to get the home that you're looking for in either Davisville or Leaside. But the good thing is that these neighborhoods, they do a great job of holding their value. In good times, it'll be tough to get in, but in bad times, you won't see your property values fall quite as far as maybe other neighborhoods. So for the creative, laid-back type who are still looking for kind of community-focused area, I would recommend Leslieville. It's got a really neat mix of urban and residential. You've got boutique condos, nothing terribly high-rise. You can have some really beautiful Victorian semis and some really neat converted lofts. From an amenity standpoint, Leslieville has a great coffee scene. Pilot is an example of a great spot where you can get some really fantastic coffee. And there's also a really neat beer scene in Leslieville as well. There's tons of breweries that you could walk to from almost anywhere that you're living to in Leslieville and try different kinds of Toronto craft breweries. The number of restaurants in Leslieville is high, and their uniqueness is high as well. You could very easily find a very unique meal, all different types of cuisines within Leslieville itself. And then the green space is fantastic as well. You've got big parks like Greenwood Park that has outdoor skating rinks in the winter and a very busy, kind of lively pool in the summer. You've got the Leslieville Spit where you could go and do bird watching or be down by the lake. Now, your access to downtown from Leslieville isn't horrible. You can get there via streetcar, not the fastest way, but because of where Leslieville is situated, it's not terribly far from downtown. So your streetcar ride isn't going to be super long. There's kind of something for everybody in Leslieville. I think it used to be a bit of a hidden gem, but it has been really hyped up over the past couple of years, but the hype is very much deserved. So for those who are looking for peace and green space without leaving the city, you may want to look into High Park. Now, High Park, if I kind of zoom in so you can see Toronto here, it's on the west side of the city, not as far west as you can go, but over on the west here, it's just south of Bloor. Now, High Park is Toronto's largest public park, and the area is also named after the park. So it's both the neighborhood and the park itself. You'll see here is High Park here. Yes, there is a small zoo in there, as well as you've got High Park North right there. So High Park itself is packed with century homes. People have been living in High Park for probably a very long time. So there is a chance that if you're looking to acquire a house in High Park, that the home may require some interior renovations. So just something to bear in mind from a budget perspective. But the homes are beautiful. The lots are big. The streets are tree lined, and the streets themselves, very quiet side streets, a lot of them, as long as you're not too close to Bloor. It is a very family-friendly neighborhood. From a walkability standpoint, it's not awesome, but you've got some stuff pretty close nearby. So for example, Bloor West Village, which is its own neighborhood, is just to the west of High Park, and there's lots of great kind of shopping and things to do, and places to get groceries and all that kind of stuff. And it's just either one subway stop west, or you could walk there. It might take you a little bit of time. Your commute from High Park to downtown could be long because you'd have to go all the way across Bloor to travel east until you hit the subway line and then head down to Union Station. So you need to be prepared for the fact that your commute might be a little bit longer, but if you're looking for a very green, kind of older, very established neighborhood, that commute might be worth it for you. So for lake living, very laid back feel, almost like a coastal town, and you're going to want the beaches. Yes, there are beaches in Toronto, and there's a neighborhood that's named after them. It is almost like a lakeside town that's been dropped into a big city. That's kind of the feel that you get, especially in the summer. There is a lovely boardwalk that is busy most of the year. The homes are very charming. There's tons of trees. The streets are tree lined as well. It's a really lovely neighborhood. There's tons of eateries and bars and things to do and places to visit along Queen East. So it's almost like its own little kind of like small town strip, I guess, if you will. In the summer, it's packed. Be prepared that if you're going to move to the beaches and want to frequent that in the summer months, it's going to be very busy, both with local residents and with visitors as well. So the beaches has a great summer lifestyle and vibe. It's also home to some really great schools, and it's a very family-friendly neighborhood. Now, the commute to downtown from there can suck. It's pretty far away. It's pretty far removed from the core, and there's not a lot of transit options to get all the way there. You're looking at probably streetcar. The drive into downtown, if you wanted to, also can be not great depending on your timing. Be prepared that the sacrifice for living in a fantastic neighborhood like the beaches will be a poor commute if that's something that you would need to do. And like most of the top, most desirable neighborhoods in the city, it's expensive there. But I do find that it's kind of one of those neighborhoods that people have the strongest desire to live there. I've met a number of people who've said, I want to live in the beaches and I don't want to live anywhere else. So it certainly is a competitive real estate market from that perspective, but it is no doubt one of the most desirable in the city. There are lots of neighborhoods in this city and plenty that have very similar characteristics and offerings as the ones that I mentioned in this video. Roncesvalles, Junction, Riverdale, just to name a couple. So by no means is this an exclusive list, and that doesn't mean that these neighborhoods are better than other ones. Everything's got its own personality, and again, we want to find one that matches your personality. So if you're planning on moving to Toronto, or if you just need help narrowing things down, there's a link in the description below where you can book a consultation with me. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more local Toronto insights, and I'd love it if you comment below and let me know what type of lifestyle are you looking for. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.